Welcome back to Not Just Sports, and we continue our look at Sports Talk radio hosts by going out to WBEN 930 on your dial. Howard Simon.
That voice should have been familiar to Sabre fans, hockey fans in West New York. That was Dave Andreychuk, who is having the playoff of a lifetime right now for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Very familiar with your career because you were at WJGL in Niagara Falls for many years. You replaced John Murphy, who was an institution at that station, who in turn replaced Stan Barron. So you've been put in a good slot. I got to ask you a question, though. You're on from 7 to 8. So basically, you're limited to an hour, whereas freeform sports used to be longer than that. What's your feeling? Does it give you enough time to get in what you want to do?
I think there might be a middle ground to reach. I think they realized that 4 hours, especially after they did not have any more play-by-play contracts, was a little bit much, and it got tough to fill, especially outside of the Sabres and Bills season. It was difficult to fill 4 hours every night, so they cut it back. 1 hour may be a little short. I get a feeling maybe we should get it to 2 hours and then maybe expand it further if we do get back to a more sports picture at BEN. But I think 1 hour is okay to start with because I have sportscasts and other things that I have to do as well in addition to producing the show. But I think we might look to expand it in the future, I would hope.
Most of your background is as a sports reporter, but this gives you an opportunity to sit and host a show, take phone calls. Do you like taking the calls?
Yeah, I needed it. I mean, the one thing I had not done a lot in my career was talk. I really had not had the opportunity, mostly play-by-play and reporting and anchoring, and I kind of enjoy it. Number one, I enjoy getting the guests on because I learn more as you have guests on, and when you take calls and talk to the listeners, you get a better feel for what the sports fan in the community is thinking rather than just doing sportscasts or reporting. You don't get an idea what's going on out there, and I like getting the feedback from the listeners.
844 one-on-one. Let's talk with Rob on his car phone. Rob, you're on One-on-One Sports.
Hi, Rick. I'd like to ask you a question.
Sure.
Do you think the Sabres have shored up their defense problems?
What can you do to leave your print on the radio scene? I know you don't consider yourself a controversial guy.
No, to be honest with you, I still have to find a niche. You know, I think that's something I'll have to get into. I'm not the type of guy who goes and rants and raves and yells and screams. I've been in markets where it's gone on before, but that's just not my character. And I think the one thing you can't do is try and do a talk show and try and do a style that you are not and just pretend to be somebody else. I think you're in trouble then. We'll see. I mean, I think there's a niche out there, and I'm trying to find it. I haven't gotten to it just yet. I'm just getting used to the talk show. But you know, when I have to make an opinion and I have a strong conviction about something, so be it. But I don't think I would rant and rave just for the sake of arguing or yelling with a listener. That's just not my style. Was there a problem inside the locker room? I mean, year after year, the question was, did the Sabres want it bad enough? Did you feel that there was something that had to be changed when you were here?
And one thing that's different for you than for John Murphy, and that is that you're much more in a reporter's role over there at WBEN. So you're out working during the day, out developing stories. You do your sportscast prior to coming on the air at 7 o'clock. Which do you prefer?
I think I like anchoring. I think I like reporting and anchoring. I enjoy the experience of talk. I like getting out to the games. I like covering events, and I like talking about the stories of the day. Talk show is fun, but I think right now, in the first 3 months, I'd have to say anchoring is a little bit more exciting for me.
There's been a lot of radio giants have passed through the halls of where you work right now.
I got a good feel for it. I mean, I went to college at Buff State, and at that point, I listened to Stan Barron do one-on-one sports, and I'd listened to John Murphy when I got back here in '89 in the Falls, and I know some other people who've worked at BEN. And I think being in the radio business and background in Buffalo from college, you have a feel for the stations in the certain cities that have the reputations. And I knew the reputation of BEN. In fact, I was a little bit concerned when I had to replace John Murphy, because you don't replace a John Murphy, you don't replace a Stan Barron. You come in and try and make a name for yourself, which Murph did, and now I'm trying to do it. But I know what I've walked into. There's a little pressure because of the reputation. On the other hand, it's a great place to be at because it's thought of so highly. We'll take a break on One-on-One Sports. Be back with more of your calls in just a moment. Get ready just in case you get some lights on.